Hello, this is Caleb Barney, local real estate agent in the greater Cleveland, Ohio area. And today I wanted to go over an article from the World Property Journal. So this is basically a real estate focused online website. And their tagline is real estate facts, not fiction. So in this case, I'm in the residential real estate news portion. And the title of this article is U.S. Owners Stay in Their Homes on Average 12 Years Now. So this article came out almost a month ago, February 15th, 2024. As I'm recording this, it's actually March 12th of 2024. But basically what they're saying here is that homeowners are staying in their homes twice as long as they did back in 2005. And it's really driven by older Americans aging in place. So realistically, it's mostly the baby boomers that are aging in place and staying at home. So when we're looking at what is driving the homeowner tenure up, they're saying essentially, and I'm going to go in reverse order from what they did, but starting with Gen Zers, it says nearly all Gen Zers who own a home have owned it for less than 5 years, which stands to reason because the oldest Gen Zer was 26 years old in 2023. So obviously, they are not really contributing very much to this staying in a home for an average of 12 years. Of course, there are fewer Gen Zers that that are capable of owning a home, let alone for the 12 years there, since they were only 26. It's not like they're the oldest ones, that is. So it's not like they've been owning a home since they were 14 years old. Millennials, who are actually going to be our largest generation here, they typically stay in homes for shorter periods as well, typically because they are younger and because they switch jobs more frequently than older generations. And also, I'm sure the pandemic kind of helped persuade them to switch jobs a little more frequently as well, and basically rethink their living situation if they had to work from home, which millennials, my guess, I don't actually have the statistics to back this up, but I would guess that millennials would have a greater ability to work from home with tech and with other sectors than, say, maybe Gen Xers or baby boomers did during the pandemic. So basically, less than 7% of millennials have lived in their home that they currently own for 10 years or more. 13%, so obviously this number is going to go up, lived in that home for between 5 to 9 years, and 30% lived in that home that they currently own for less than 5 years. When we move on up to the Gen Xers, more than 1/3, so 35% of them have lived in the home that they currently own for at least 10 years. And then when you get to baby boomers, nearly 40% of them have lived in the home they currently own for at least 20 years, and another 16% for 10 to 19 years. What they skipped over here was out of that 40% that lived in their home for at least 20 years, if you scroll down and look at this, there's actually 20% of baby boomers have lived in their home for at least 30 years. So they're just hanging on, they're not getting rid of that property, and as a result, it's contributing to the inventory shortage. So everybody talks about basically not enough supply in the market. So there are too few houses listed for sale and too many buyers, which is what is keeping the prices up. And that's definitely true. And basically, the only way to combat that is, baby boomers eventually selling their homes, or obviously new construction taking over. But that is just going to be a very small dent, in this puzzle here, because realistically, there's not enough builders, and it's not cost effective enough for enough people to afford it, especially at the current interest rate environment. So realistically, people are hoping that baby boomers are going to sell off, and you hear this silver tsunami that people are talking about, which I'm less inclined to believe just because, yes, there are a lot of baby boomers, but there's basically just as many Gen X. There's more millennials, and then Gen Z is coming up as well. So there's plenty of demand to soak up any supply that the baby boomers put on the market, whether it's because they're downsizing, they're renting, they are, unfortunately passing away, stuff like that. And then the other thing to keep in mind, if they are downsizing and they're buying another home, they're not actually contributing to the inventory or to the supply, because while they are listing their home for sale, they're also taking a home that was for sale off the market if they're buying. So a lot of times buyers are sellers, so that's kind of a wash there. So I just thought that this was kind of interesting to look at the homeowner tenure, since it has doubled since 2005. So back in 05, 06, we were looking at 6.5 years. 6.5 years was the median homeowner tenure. And now we're at 11.9. We actually peaked at 13.4 years in 2020. So kind of crazy to think about, that people are just staying at their home for longer. And again, partly, I'm sure that has to do with the lock-in effect for the recent years as well, just because if people have either no mortgage, because again, look at all of these people who have lived in their home for 30 plus years, or just a smaller mortgage because they bought it 20 years ago, they are less incentivized to basically trade in their current house and mortgage for a much larger one. If they were at a 3% interest rate and now they're going up to a 6 or 7% interest rate. So that's basically just what I wanted to go over today. Again, I'm based out of the Cleveland, Ohio area. If you have any questions regarding Northeast Ohio housing, feel free, reach out to me, and I'd be happy to talk.